the ruining of the world's economy and the lives of hundreds of millions, if not billions, in the name of not spreading the virus may not have been necessary. That's why the attacks on Sweden. Where is the Michigan thing? I want you to understand. Oh, God, I have another one here from Science Magazine. Folks, I have never been as deluged with stuff as I am now. Anyway, among the Michigan rules was you can't even drive from, here we go. Michigan state officials have imposed a series of heavy-handed restrictions, including bans on supposedly non-essential sections of supermarkets, which have accordingly been cordoned off. Under Governor Whitmer's order, a Michigander can buy a bag of candy or a lottery ticket, but not a pack of seeds or a can of paint. He can enjoy a boat ride by himself or with his dog, but not if his boat has a motor. The logic of these seemingly arbitrary distinctions must elude most Americans. Wall Street Journal. Why can't you go in a boat with a motor? Mr. Producer, do you understand the logic? No, I'm not kidding. Do you get it?
I don't think they get it.
And you can't drive to, if you have a second home, you can't drive to it.
Can't garden in Michigan.
Can't garden?
Gardeners can't work in Michigan.
Gardeners can't work. Why not?
I don't know. Why can't you golf?
Can't golf, that's right. Wow. I just want to repeat something. This is critical for you to remember. The LA Times writes without a shred of data. They don't have to give data because they're on the left. So without a shred of support, they just announce the reason California has so many fewer deaths than New York is that in California they shut down the state 6 days sooner, 6 days before New York. That's the article. And then they point out in one sentence, and then 10 days after New York, Florida shut down. But Florida has among the least deaths per 100,000 in the country. 2. It's 2, then 1, then 0. Wyoming has 0. 2. So it's virtually none. So if shutting down is the difference, why isn't there a staggering number of deaths in Florida? Maybe the shutdown isn't the reason. This was all based on that report from Imperial College, 2 million. Was that 2 million for the U.S. or 2 million or for Britain?
2 million for the U.S.,
500,000 for Britain. The dishonest and stupid media never have a list, never have a sign up, deaths from flu. Instead, more than 9/11, like David Frum in The Atlantic. More than any battle in the Civil War. That was a doozy. This is a clarifying time, ladies and gentlemen. Wall Street Journal. It's still America, virus or not. Americans, by and large, have willingly obeyed the government's shelter-in-place and social distancing orders, but that doesn't seem to be enough for some public officials. They're indulging their inner bully in ways that over time will erode public support for behavior that can reduce the spread of the coronavirus. No kidding. I could see myself violating laws within the near future and getting fined or going to prison. One problem is excessive enforcement. Some state and local officials tasked with implementing shelter-at-home orders appear either to misunderstand the edicts they are meant to carry out or to suffer from a lack of discernment. I read this one to you last week. Police officers in Brighton, Colorado, handcuffed a man for playing with his wife and 6-year-old daughter on a nearly empty softball field. Though the order, police claimed he had violated, barred only groups of 5 or more. As I reported, the police later apologized. Yeah, but it happened. Police are in an untenable position, obviously. Police are supposed to be told what civilians tell them to do. I totally understand that. I'm just curious, though, in their minds, are they thinking, why am I handcuffing this man who's playing softball with his daughter? What have we come to in America? In public parks in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, police officers are prohibiting locals from sitting on park benches, even if they are alone. In Philadelphia, police officers dragged a man from a public bus for not wearing a mask. He had evidently refused to exit the bus when asked, but the officer's conduct given the offense appears excessive. Anyway, is it mandatory in Philadelphia? I thought it was suggested, not mandatory. In their defense, these officers are carrying out the orders of elected officials, and in many cases, those orders are unclear or worse. In Louisville, Kentucky, Mayor Greg Fisher prohibited Christian believers from gathering on Easter Sunday, including in drive-through services in which worshipers remain in their vehicles. Could you check on the party of Mayor Fisher in Louisville? Could you see? Now, many mayors may not even have a party, but I'm curious. We'll find out. You can't even have. This is not the only place where drive-through was. You said he's a Democrat. That's a shock. Wait, let me capture my regain my breath. A Democrat would order people not to gather in cars for Easter service?